Hello, my name is Nathan Etherington. I'm the Program and Community Coordinator here at the Brant Historical Society. Archival Discoveries is a show where we open new documents at the museum to discover and learn something new about Brantford's history. Today's episode for Remembrance Day, we explore the Brant County War Memorial Association. Okay, so let's see what kind of documents we have in the box here. So we have one envelope about the War Memorial, a second one, and then one from the War Memorial Association. So we'll look at all three of these documents or envelopes in detail. Okay, so let's figure out what's in this envelope. So they're all the same thing, which is helpful. Which is souvenir booklets from the unveiling of the War Memorial Association. So let's take a good one, maybe. Let's try to find a nice one, and we'll look at that one in detail. This one looks pretty good. So we see that it was unveiled Thursday, May 25th, 1933. And so there's some photos of some people there, the Governor General, a brief history of the War Memorial, proposed image of it. It then goes through and lists a whole bunch of the soldiers that died in the First World War at this time. And then at the end of that, it also has a section for Six Nations. It then has some brief general history of some things like the Mohawk Chapel, as well as the order of service for the opening and the unveiling. And then as well, it has the executive. We see none other than Judge Hardy as the president of the executive committee. And then we also see members of council involved, and then also we get Allward in there as well as some of the landscape architects. So Dunnington Grubb, that's from the Dunnington Grubb report in 1912. And then it has some other just general history of Brantford. All right, so now we're exploring the other envelope, and the other envelope starts off with a whole bunch of programs. So first of all, we have as well the program from the original unveiling. So it contains a lot of the same information that's in the booklet, the souvenir booklet. We also have another program from 1940 for the Brant County War Memorial. So this one is happening obviously in the middle of the Second World War. And then across the top there we have some other Remembrance Day services from recent memory from 89, 1990, as well as 2003. Okay, here we have a very different document. This actually happens before the unveiling, a week before the unveiling, and it's written from the mayor's office. You see Mayor Morrison McBride there, one of Brantford's most beloved mayors. We also see a signature of someone from the Legion, and there's also the souvenir committee chaired by none other than F.D. Revel. So in this, they're talking about a lot of the preparations for the week ahead. Okay, here we have a very special letter. So this letter is dated March 24th, 1923. So this is almost an entire decade before the memorial is complete. And the letter is written to Dear Mr. Cockshott. So that's obviously the Cockshott who's part of the War Memorial Association. So the author of the letter writes, I received your letter and proposal regarding the work of designing a suitable war memorial for Brantford. As you know, my services are about entirely given to the Canadian Battlefield Memorial Commission, which makes it very difficult for me to make your design. However, I will do my best, and by working at night, I hope to be able to carry out your wishes along the lines proposed in your letter.
I would like to point out that owing to the large number of memorials being erected, it is becoming more and more difficult to make a design which does not suggest a copy. This, of course, we do not want. May I thank you for your kindly consideration and understanding of my position. I can only assure you that I will do my best in every way to help you erect a suitable memorial by making a design suitable and artistic. Thank you, and I wish you all a safe and happy trip home. Yours sincerely, Walter S. Allward. Okay, so here we have the actual unveiling and dedication kind of pamphlet that was presented to the chairman, Reginald Scarf. And most of this is exactly the same as the program, noting that the times must be adhered to. But there's some other interesting things in the back. So there's a letter here from the Dominion Dress Company asking for some compensation for some of the land of the balance. There was originally like a factory on the site of the war memorial. And then we also see this letter here dated June 7th. So after the event happens, detailing the expenses of everything. And there we see that Dominion Dress Company again getting some compensation. We also see someone from the Capitol Theater doing something and someone from the Temple Building as well. And then we have Dyson Brothers there in Hamilton. And so here we have the receipt for the Memorial Day Committee. And you can see because of the number of people there, they purchased an amplifier system service for the event. Okay, so the final thing that we have in the final envelope is the minutes from the Brant County War Memorial Association. So they start kind of in the late 1930s, so after the memorial is complete, and it goes up until about the 1960s. So they don't meet often. Often they meet in like March or something, and then again before the Remembrance Day ceremonies for that year. So we're looking at kind of the minutes for March 29th, 1948. And so the reason that we're looking at this day is because there is also a mention of Allward in here. So at the top of the page, it mentions following frequent interviews with Mr. Allward by members of the committee, the president and his worship, Mayor Matthews, 1947, report indicating that no further progress could be made without entering into an agreement with Mr. Allward, who asked for a sum of $3,000 for completion of scale models. So it's 1948, right? So the memorial is actually completed. So they're adding something onto the memorial right now. Okay, so now we've fast forwarded almost another year. It's May 30th, 1949. And so now they've kind of come to a bit more of a firm agreement about what's happening. So they have a report here by Allward, and Allward asked for a payment of $1,000 and the province of Ontario as well. And then there's a report given on the progress of the design, explaining a conference with Mr. Allward and the progress to date. In view of the failing health, Mr. Allward advised his reluctance to proceed farther and suggested turning his model over to a working sculptor. The design committee recommended that we proceed to complete the memorial by placing thereon a single bronze figure 9 feet in height as designed by Mr. Allward. So it's kind of interesting that they're talking about this because there is no 9 feet bronze single sculpture at the memorial today. Okay, now we move forward until 1952, and you can see they're doing more work with the memorial, and they note here certain maintenance work that needs to be done, including the superimposing of names of the war dead from World War II and some improved treatments of the names from World War I already on, as well as some landscaping for the grounds. So they've obviously now recognized that they need to add the World War II soldiers to the memorial. All right, here we have a letter from June 18th, 1954. And so this one is later, but we don't see any mention of Mr. Allward. Instead, we see Mr. Books presenting a drawing of his proposals for completion of the memorial. So it appears that Allwater is dead, and perhaps we are not going with his original vision at this point. Okay, so here we have a letter. Now we're in 1955, in the beginning of the year, and we see this resolution that has been brought forward to the committee, that the meeting approved the plans recommended by the executive committee and its meeting of January 6th, as presented by the architect Mr. C.H. Brooks, for the addition of a memorial gallery to commemorate the fallen in World War II, and authorize the executive committee to finalize these plans and call for tenders with a view to an early completion of the Brant War Memorial. And it's carried unanimously. So it seems like now we finally recognize the World War II soldiers. Okay, so here we have one of the last reports in the booklet on June 15th, 1956. And it's mentioning a special committee be appointed to for the unveiling and dedication ceremony of these new names that have now been added. So the general arrangements are as follows. Dedication and unveiling, Monday, July 2nd, 1956 at 2:45 p.m. by Senator Honorable W. Ross McDonald. So this is the last thing that we see in the booklet before it jumps wildly into 1960. So today we read a letter by Allward in 1923 talking about submitting a proposal for the Brant County War Memorial. We saw the unveiling and what happened on the day of the unveiling of the War Memorial. And then we read through some of the association minutes later on to discover what they did to commemorate soldiers from World War II. So join us next week on Archival Discoveries as we continue our Remembrance Day series, and we look through the war letters written by Ray Reeves in World War II.